Mrrs here from RPM Reviews with a brand new 2020 Kia Sportage. So guys, the lane keep assist, I've been testing it, and similar to the Hyundai, since they share the technology, it's pretty good. It's keeping me in right there, going to the right, it's pushing me back, it's pushing me back again, it's pushing me back, it kind of held me there a bit. Push me back, it's pushing me back, and it's like little muscle behind it. When it pushes me back, there's a muscle behind it. It's not so soft like the Mazda, where it just gave up. Cars do, they forward collision warning doesn't seem to always work as well in some cars. I got pretty close to this tractor in front of me around a turn behind us, and it didn't warn me. Now it is, and that was me touching the brake. I'm not sure if it started to help me as well. I can't push my luck. I don't want to hit some tractor while I'm test driving the car. An unassumed road here right now because the Kia Sportage is supposed to be very good for the all-wheel drive. So I want to give a little, but you know what? I got a top of the line with the 19-inch rim, so I'm kind of regretting coming here. I don't want to risk popping a tire doing this, but so I'm gonna have to take it very easily and potentially come back with a 17-inch rim one that will have a higher sidewall and better for doing some of the testing on this. So I'm gonna have to be very careful with my articulation, not to damage this car, because again, the rims and the wheels are not meant for this terrain. But I'm here, so I'll do a little bit. This spot's a little bit more in a sandy spot, so that's nice for not being too rough. We got kind of like a mogul thing going on here. Now the Sportage, the front of the Sportage does have an angled front for better approach of steep and bumps and all that kind of stuff, so that's a bonus. And the ride comfort is actually not terrible at the moment. I mean, I'm not going very fast, and these bumps are more like curvy bumps, not sharper ones, so there's not much of a bounce like hitting a pothole would be. So that's helping it not to be too rough. We'll see if I hit any more, and I'm not going to try anything too bumpy anyway. I'll have to slow down if something looks bumpy again to be safe. This looks like an awesome spot to test. This is not very steep here. I mean, it's very steep, but it's not very high. But this looks like an awesome spot to check all-wheel drive vehicles. I think I've been here years ago with a friend. Now that's pretty steep going all the way down. That's a long thing to test all-wheel drive on, as you can see. And there's a lot of different level of hills, less humps, not as steep, longer ones, because of its okay ground clearance anyway. I can do this kind of stuff. There's some ruts in here, but at the moment they're not deep enough. But let's do some candor, off candor. There we go, that's kind of fun. I mean, seeing that it's not very bumpy, as I was saying before, with pothole type stuff, it's more like curvy spots and all that stuff. It's kind of not too uncomfortable here, so it's kind of like the suspension's doing all right. Kind of impressed with that. So thumbs up so far. Should I even attempt over here just for fun? Don't have the tires to test that. It's a little safer to go fast and just get an idea of the bumpiness. It's relatively okay on this terrain. Okay, so I've been doing some acceleration tests. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour, which is 63 miles per hour. I'm getting in the 9 seconds. There's a big delay off the start. Car and driver and those kind of people are getting in the 7s. I don't know if they're doing like a brake stand or something like that, or they're revving the crap out of it before they really let go of the brake to go, or how they're getting the... I can see it doing less than 8 seconds if you completely get rid of the turbo lag. And I even tried once with the all-wheel lock-on, so at the initial get-go, all wheels are on and better traction for less chance of slipping, or for the traction control to do anything. Also, the passing test I do, 50 to 70 miles per hour, which is around 80 to 113 kilometers per hour passing test. I was getting around 5 seconds. So I did multiple attempts and I got an average of about 5 seconds. That's about a half a second faster than its Santa Fe cousin. Being a little lighter, again, it's a little quicker. So that's not too bad. The Mazda CX-5, I think, was doing 4.5 seconds on average, maybe higher for. So the CX-5, I believe, is a bit quicker in the in its quarter mile, and I mean 0 to 100, and then the 50 to 70 mile per hour passing test. The Equinox, I believe I was getting a little bit quicker, around 8 seconds for my own abilities again, for the 0 to 100, and I was getting 4.5, even low 4s in multiple tests for the 50 to 70 mile per hour passing test. That Equinox is pretty quick. If reasonable handling and very quick acceleration is one of the things you're favoring, the Equinox is definitely something to consider. Take note that the torque on this car is rated from as low as 1450 RPM to 3500 RPM. So that's the range that it's at its peak horsepower. And that's why when you're already cruising a little bit, like 10-15 kilometers, you kick it, you get a lot of torque right in that low range. So that's nice. But it would be a lot better, I think, especially on the highway for the passing speeds, if its torque rating was, instead of stopping at 35, it was able to reach 4,500 RPMs. If it's already above 3,500 RPMs, the turbo is going and you're getting good acceleration. But because the main torque is up to 3,500 RPMs, when your RPMs are above 3,500 RPMs, you're not at peak torque. So you're still accelerating pretty good, but not at peak that you could be. So your mid-range and higher range accelerations will be lesser than a car that has its torque ability at a higher RPM range. And that's where, of course, something with similar power, but being a naturally aspirated 6-cylinder with this kind of power, would definitely blow the doors off of this thing on the highway. The fuel economy, I believe, for this is 12.1 liters per 100 kilometers in the city and 9.6 liters per 100 kilometers on the highway. That's only a wee bit better than its bigger cousin, the Santa Fe, which is a lot heavier. That said, the handling is very good. Even though you're not feeling it in the steering, with direct feel right back to you in the driver engagement, the actual handling is as good. Maybe, I think some reviewers say they believe it's a tad better than the CX-5 for actual handling, G rating, and slalom tests and all that stuff. So thumbs up for its handling, thumbs down for its driver feel. Outward visibility is pretty good. The The mirrors are positioned in the size and shape of them are ones that you can see very well beside you, and so that's pretty good. The seating position in this one, at its lowest setting, seems to be a little higher than some other ones. So a really tall person will probably not be able to put the seat as low as they may have preferred. On the positive side, short people like my wife is only 5 feet tall. I think this may go a tad higher than some of its competitors. So shorter people will be able to get a little bit better view over the steering wheel. Just a little braking test there, and it seems pretty decent. Full throttle, but cabin noise. I'm getting low 70s on a more rural side road. It is paved, but it's not as smooth as a newer paved highway would be. Ride comfort, it's pretty decent. I'm gonna give it thumbs up because it's on the okay side. I'm not saying it's the best. I'm easy to please for ride comfort. Give a thumbs up. As I mentioned, the bucket seats in here are pretty comfortable. They got some good bolstering. There's some good width on them. They're very similar to the Mazda and the Equinox. These might be a tad angled outwards, so a little bit bigger person would be a little more comfortable in this than, for example, the Equinox and potentially the Mazda CX-5. These are compact SUVs, so they're not huge, guys. But there's good room here. Harder plastic down here, so it's not as comfortable for your knee to go in, but kind of cool looking, eh? I think it's pretty good with a nice sleek hood. When you're sitting inside, because it curves down, it's very good visibility onto the road. Now the Sportages are known for having reasonably good all-wheel drive capabilities, and the front is always shorter and it comes angled up for better approaching angles when you're doing off-roading. I wouldn't do off-roading with the 19-inch rims like you're gonna see in my video. Nicely designed, LED headlamps. Regarding the headlamps, if you check the IIHS reviews, which I did, and I posted the link below in the description for the accident test recording, crash test and all that kind of stuff. It's got fairer to like lower scores for their headlamps. So even the regular lamps and even their LED lamps aren't as good as other vehicles in its class. So other vehicles do have better outward visibility and brightness with their lamps. These ones are so-so. So thumbs down for their headlamps. Let's back up to look. Stylish car. This one's got dual tip exhaust, and again it's got a short rear, so good for ascending approach and descending and all that kind of stuff for off-roading. Okay guys, sorry about that. I started the video a little late. I was getting a little close, and this, similar to Santa Fe, this does have the sensor where if it senses the key proximity thing close to you and you stand behind the car for a little bit, the hatch does open. Let's see if this one can do the yeah, it kind of works. It's not as smooth, but if you bend it down with if you got your boxes full and you bend it down with your elbow, it'll unlock. But it's kind of more like forcing it, whereas some of the cars are kind of designed to do it more smoother. Cargo space back here is not as large as some of the other vehicles in its category. I think the Mazda CX-5 does not have a lot, and this one's even less. This one's got 33.5. Mind you, that's a little bit further back. I'm sure it'll be a little bit more, so maybe like closer to 34, 35 if the seat wasn't so reclined. I think it's in its most reclined position right now. The CX-5 has 37.5. It's 40.5 this way. I think the CX-5 was 41-ish, 41.5. And it's 29 inches about there, and the CX-5 was, I think, 30.5, maybe not even 31. The Equinox, I believe, is a little bit bigger than the two of these. So what do you have here? We got a subwoofer back here. We got a tie down hook on both sides. It's a little cloudy today, so you got a good size spare down here. So there's no like specific organizer for stuff, but there's so much space under here that you could lay lots of spare stuff down here that you really should have in the car for you for emergency backup. And then the little cubby spots on both sides, you can hide something in there. So not a big space. I'll mention the cargo space in the description below. It's gotta be less than 30 cubic feet for sure. This one does have the push from out here, so you don't have to press the latch inside. But for safety, it will not work if the car is locked. So no one can come and pour sugar down your gas tank. I think the Equinox was opening and I didn't realize it was because I had the keys with me and the car was unlocked. So I better correct that report. Do you see the mirrors on this are folded? It has the automatic folding mirrors. Let me unlock. Now this door is very wide here, which at the first I thought made a little bit awkward, but it does open very wide so you can get things in. The seat position is in its most reclined position, so. Now the seat at the front is set where I would be sitting at 5'5", and I got like, wow, like 7-8 inches here. Actually, let me actually measure that. I got 8 inches. So that's pretty good. It's very comfy. The seats back here are not really bucket seats, but there's a little bit bolstering to it for comfort. We do have hard stuff up here. I mean, I want to say it's got that slight softer rubby feel, even though it's hard, but not really. Some of them you can feel it a little more. I mean, this is harder than this one, but it really is very close to each other, but it is a slightly difference to it. You have soft material here, you have the leather here, piano black kind of look there. Got a cubby for a glass. You got 2 Mac pockets, cup holders here, and nothing else in there. As you can see, this is recessed a lot right now. There's only a smaller hump here. It's a little on the wide side. It's wider than the CX-5, but it's not too high. We have air vents here and 2 USB ports right here. No separate climate control, but it's good that at least has the vents for your guests here. So pretty good. I say if someone's sitting in the middle, there's room for 3 adults back here, but not chunky but funky ones, but average people for a short ride. Larger people would be fine for a longer ride. Again, lots of space here, so 8 inches. Now I'm doing my head test. My whole hand can pass top of my head and I'm not touching the roof line. And it does have a panoramic. That's pretty cool. Sunroof. I mean, it's very, very close, but my hand just passes through. So definitely somebody 6'4", possibly 6'5", can sit in here without their head touching. But lots of leg rooms. Surprisingly enough, what I think is happening in this car is they've made the leg and headroom very comfortable. The roof doesn't come down too fast, so that keeps the headroom high. But because this is not as big as a car as some of its competitors in overall length, they've kept the cabin very comfortable size, and we've lost a little bit for storage space, and most people don't need tons of storage space on a regular basis, so maybe they don't care, but that's just something for you to know. And you can see this is the normal seating position, and you can see how much further back that one is. It's not a bad, it's a decent little recline there for resting. These do have the side light as well. So same as the back, it's got the somewhat kind of like softer feel here. I think this is like a vinyl softness here, the leather here, and it's got the hard here. Now this, I prefer this to be leather. This to me is not a luxury feeling, because when I'm driving, your elbow is resting on it if you want to drive with kind of like holding the steering wheel in the 7 o'clock position. So this is not comfortable for my elbow to leaning on. You got typical size cubby space here. This one does have the I think they call it an 8, but I always call these a 10 because there's also the angle, right? Not just that and this part here does not come out. Just got the usuals, and the lumbar support is just the two-way. The passenger side only has, I think, the typical adjustments for the passenger. As you can see, it's got a nice bucket design. Passenger seat does have up and down as well as back and forth, and the recline, so that's a bonus there. Thumbs up for giving the up and down. Okay, this being the top of the line XX trim, does have the nice stitching leather seating all around, as you can see. Up here is also, it's not really suede, but it kind of gives you a bit of a suede, kind of almost inclination about it, right? So harder down here, decent sized glove box actually. Same cubby over there. It's got the silver accented handles, which I think is on the SX model. It's got a good length, which you know I've complained about before. A good length here on the armrest, so you can reach it from the steering wheel. And it's a deep, good size cubby space in there as well. There's no USBs or anything like that hiding in there. A little cubby space here. And you got some cubby space here with the wireless free charging. I believe this is an 8-screen navigation system here. So similar to the Hyundai. It's got all the same, I mean, Hyundai shares its technology because they own Kia. So it's, I like how this is, it's also very relatively intuitive. I love, again, just like the Hyundai Santa Fe, that there's a lot of hard buttons here for navigating where you want to go to and being able to touch something. You know, up here you have things related to radio, media, the mapping, setting up some things. Down here's all the climate controls. Now, this being the top of the line model, and the two top models come with the heated and cooled seats and rear heating seats, heating steering wheel. The heating steering wheel might be starting as early as the EX model, but the heating and cooling seats are for the upper trims. Just got a dual climate control. So again, I'm not getting into too much about this part. It's very intuitive and good quality. Now this design here is more kind of like a trucky look, because I guess they consider themselves to be like you know, an off-roady kind of little sports utility vehicle. So this is not as elegant design as some cars can be, but you know what? I mean, I don't personally care about that too much. The vents are in a good spot to get everywhere you need to go. Center gear shifter, and you can put it into manual mode. And this one does have the paddle shifter, guys. Bonus. Okay, we have good sized cup holders here. I like them to be on this side, as you heard me say before. This allows this to be more forward. So we got the parking assist feature here, the auto hold button, your electric brake, downhill assist, all wheel lock, and you got your setting for your drive modes here for the Eco, Sport, and the normal. Okay, on the steering wheel we have the usual, the radio related buttons are on this side, and it's very intuitive how it works out. And we have your information center for lane keep assist, driving assist, kilometers, fuel economy, all that kind of stuff is all set from here. And your cruise control can be set from here as well. And you got the paddle shifters, acceleration on this side, and lower the gear on this side. Up shift, down shift on the left, as most of them are. Typical controls here. We have your display light, the alert for the blind spot alert. The lane keep assist can be turned off here, and you can adjust to hold the hatch. Okay, so the windows here are not expressed up or down in the rear. The front is expressed down. The front passenger is not expressed down. So thumbs down for not having expressed up and down, at least on the front passenger side. And again, they have the folding mirror here. When you put it in reverse, it does not turn down like the Hyundai Santa Fe does. And the memory seat, where's the memory seat? I got a nice panoramic sunroof in this one. The visors on both sides have the feature for the sun for both sides, so that's a thumbs up to that. We got the compass on the mirror. I like that. Even though you might have navigation, it's kind of nice just to know which direction you're going when you're not using it, your navigation. Overall, this is a pretty decent little SUV. Some of the pros and cons are for you to decide whether you like the vehicle.